Hello, everyone, and welcome to Magical Mayhem with Madam and Mac.
Hey, everybody.
It's Friday again. Yay!
Yes, finally.
I know, right? Friday afternoon. Always my favorite. I say hands down above any other day, any other time. That
Yeah.
5 o'clock Friday is just
Yeah.
the best feeling.
Yep.
Even
Yep.
if you're
Always.
not, working the 9 to 5, it's
Yeah.
a good feeling Friday
It
at 5.
is.
Mhm.
Yep.
So you got any
Yep.
big weekend plans? Anything witchy or wonderful or interesting?
No, we're having a big cookout tomorrow with my husband's coworkers, and then
Fun.
I don't know. I put up for a class for channeling on Sunday, and so far no one's bit, but a couple people said they might, so I might be teaching a class on
Oh,
Sunday.
sweet.
So just never know.
I had a little impromptu dominatrix class I was teaching yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about chastity. So
Oh
it's good. I mean, there's just all sorts of fun things to learn out there in the whole wide world. And so, yeah, if you're bored, if you don't have, something else going on and you're wondering about channeling, get with Nellie. She'll, give you some good information.
yep.
And that's Sunday, right?
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yep. I have a social event this evening. So, I'm going to a social event. For a
Fun.
long time, none of us went to any social events.
Mhm.
So now it's like I'm trying to get back into the swing of actually going somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
It is. It really is.
Post COVID, it's hard. I've even gotten dressed and then went, no, I don't think I'm going to go. That's bad.
Oh my god, yeah, we just kind of get used to being home, right? And just wearing whatever we want.
Yeah, nice. Very nice. Sam found some cool stuff on the beach. He did find
Hey.
some cool stuff on the beach. He found a piece of Vaseline glass, which is
Ooh.
that stuff that glows under black light. He
Mhm.
found a big shard of it, and it was not just Vaseline glass; it was crackle Vaseline glass.
Oh, wow.
And he found this really big shard of it, and then we found a smaller shard, another different day. So
Mhm.
it's kind of fun finding Vaseline glass shards.
Yeah.
So yeah, we put them in the fish tank.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I got black light then on my fish
Hi.
tank. Oh,
Yeah.
Sam.
Can you see me there?
Hello.
Turn the camera a little bit. Hello.
Hello.
Sam's out doing some stuff today. He's, we're just enjoying the nice weather.
Yeah.
Trying to be outside. I'm out podcasting outside on the porch today, so
Mhm.
everyone can enjoy the river view. And
Yeah.
and it's just so nice out here.
Yeah, my husband's I think's doing the last mowing of the year, and the
Oh,
youngest boy and I cleaned all the outside windows today. Just,
oh,
I just think it's good to clean your windows sometimes, like it
yeah, I
gives
do
you
too.
clarity and perspective on everything and stuff.
Yeah.
So we did
And
that.
when winter's dreary enough without having dirty windows on top of
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
And that's part of what we're doing. I think what we should be doing as witches, in our practice now, is clean your altar, and if you haven't already,
Yep.
and set it up for the upcoming fall season. Hey Debbie, how you doing today?
Hey, Debbie.
Good to see you again. Yeah, we I got mine pretty much cleaned for the equinox, because we had a little
Yeah.
equinox celebration. So
Yeah.
pretty good. Got some nice
Good.
big photographs from it. So
Good.
I'll have to share them at some point in time.
Yeah.
So I think you have to do a PowerPoint to get that all, like to show
Yeah.
pictures. You actually, I think, have to do a PowerPoint presentation.
Gotcha.
So yeah, because I had some stuff I thought could potentially be paranormal,
Mhm.
but it turned out it wasn't.
Oh,
But I wanted to share my pictures anyway,
right.
and say, well, this was neat looking, but not paranormal.
Right.
I did have some activity though in the shop.
Mhm.
We did the ghost hunt, last weekend, and nothing really that day. But then I put lights, that they're like the flashlight, kind of thing, where it's not on. But it wouldn't take anything to just like set it off.
Right.
And I came back, and one of the lights was on. So I'm recording it. I'm checking it out.
Yeah.
Trying to contact my ma.
Yeah.
Just through meditation and, quietly listening.
Right.
I think it kind of starts with that, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. I think that's kind of your intention. You want it to happen, it will. And, I'm talking to so many people that those gifts are just like ramping up, like all of a sudden. Now they're actually seeing those who have passed on,
Wow.
and all of those things. And it's just like this huge shift is happening. And, I think it's exciting. Yeah,
it's a very
really
exciting time. And I think, people are waking up from the matrix. That's the only thing. That's the only way I can explain it. When I had a spiritual awakening, it felt like waking up from the matrix. Like, wow, I didn't even know. I didn't even see all this stuff,
Right. It's just like so many lies, right? Like so many things that we have to realize are different. And yeah, definitely.
Well, things that we took as absolute truths aren't necessarily absolute truths. And I think that, we have to be willing to reevaluate even the way we think, the way we, have felt for years, maybe. We have to just reevaluate that and say, is this really helping me? Is it serving me?
Right.
I'm all about, does this serve me?
Right. It's like, like the big thing for me was realizing that like you said, it's not an absolute truth, but it's somebody's truth somewhere. And so I still have to honor that, even though I felt like I was lied to for so long, right? That was like the biggest, hardest thing for me, is just realizing that it's okay.
Yes. And they didn't, I don't know, is it a lie if to them it seems an absolute truth,
It's just that everybody's here for different reason. Like I totally get why people instituted religion, because it has like good points, right? Like it has a morality to it. But when you take it as far as you do, and then they add the aspect of hell and everything, that really just kind of ruins it. I mean, some of us are here to experience really crazy lifetimes where we're not moral people. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean,
and I think, aside from just like, I would say the golden rule, like treat others the way you would like to be treated. What exactly, who exactly said, well, this is moral or this is amoral?
Exactly.
I mean, if I'm not hurting anyone and I'm serving myself, serving my own purpose, and I'm not harming anyone else, what difference does it make?
It really doesn't. It doesn't.
That's what I'm thinking. And I don't judge others, and I think that in organized religion, it's really all about the judging.
Oh,
think that people check each other, which is not always a bad thing, to kind of like, check yourself against other people, because sometimes you find that you can improve in different places but, I don't judge people because I never walked in their shoes. I don't know what they've had to endure, and so I don't ever judge anyone. It's not my job.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I always say. Well, that's not my job.
Right.
And I don't want that job.
Right. Well, I mean, I think like to me, having lived in that judging lifestyle so long, it becomes like stressful and it becomes draining of your energy. Now I'm just kind of like, I just don't give a fuck. You just go do what you want to do, and I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and you're going to be happy, and I'm going to be happier. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just kind of a live and let live kind of thing, And I think more humans need to, take that attitude of just, well, it's not what I want, but it's okay. It's not hurting me in any physical or, it's not impacting me in any real way. So
Right.
why do I
Well,
care?
I mean, even if they believe that you're going to hell,
Hmm.
that's your business. I mean, why do we?
Exactly.
They don't just like to save everybody. That's the
Exactly.
big
They
thing. Is
don't
just like
have to save anybody.
no,
It's not contingent upon them getting into
no,
heaven,
no. That's right.
So if they
Yeah.
just turn their back on me and don't pay any attention, they'll
Hmm.
still get where they're going.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Like
and
I.
it's just really the journey that you're on, because everyone has a different journey.
Yep.
Um, and it's just, I think it's personal. It's everyone's own personal journey. Life is,
Absolutely.
and I'm not interfering with anyone else's path.
Yeah. And I think that's like the best way to be.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're going to be happier.
Oh, for
And,
sure.
like the pots, that's just so weird. Like that we're talking about that because I was just talking with a friend and I was going over my life path number for the month. And that's what it was all about. It was about it was said like take criticism, but use it as an analyzation tool. So if you're feeling like criticizing someone, well, why are you
Mhm.
feeling like that? And then if someone is criticizing you, okay, so what can you learn from it? But like totally just be the observer. Like don't get pulled in,
Mhm.
you know, because it said in there, it said, what does negativity add to prosperity? It adds
Nothing.
nothing,
Mm-mm.
absolutely nothing. So while we're still carrying like negativity and judging and criticism of anybody, even ourselves,
Mhm.
we're like demagnetizing ourselves to prosperity, right?
I know. And it's
So,
so hard sometimes to stay positive when things are getting to you, and it's mostly things like earthly things,
mhm.
like the tax man or a broken water pipe or something, and those are the things that kind of bring that negative energy to us. But we have to learn how to deal with that without, you know, the world coming to an end each time, you know.
Yeah,
Sometimes it feels like that,
it,
like,
but
oh
yeah,
my,
it does.
could anything else go wrong?
Right,
Never say that.
right.
Yes, it
No,
could.
yeah, it's kind of like my husband explains it. He's like, so when we come here and we choose what life we're going to live, he's like, it's like you're playing a video game. So, like, right,
Mhm.
you sit down and play a video game when you're little, you get to choose your character, you
Mhm.
get to choose your powers, and then as you go, you level up your powers, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's like, we're just basically plugging into the matrix. We're playing a new video game with our life.
Mhm.
And all we need, like, so when you sit down and you play a video game, do you judge your character because it doesn't have these powers?
Mm-mm.
Or it's not as tall as the other character or something like that. No, you just do better. You
Mhm.
level up. And that is what we're here for. It's
Mhm.
that simple. It's another aspect of ourselves learning something,
Mhm.
and sometimes I think if we can think about it like that, maybe we can like take some of the stress off of having to be specific things that people have told us or
Right.
do specific things to think that we're good enough and things like that when
Yeah.
it's just one little piece in the whole
Mhm.
puzzle of our soul, right?
Right.
We just do our best.
Yep. And I think people are more worried about what people see out here versus what's in here. And they
Mm-hmm.
think that you know, as long as people like me or they think I'm doing okay or they think whatever, I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't really look inside of themselves, because
Yep.
they're either wouldn't like what they see or they don't know how to change or they don't
Yeah.
want to change. It's like, yeah, maybe I'm despicable, but I don't care.
Right. Yeah, it takes
I mean,
effort.
I think we all know people like that are, or they're just
Mm-hmm.
so oblivious to, the things that they do to other people that they just don't see,
Yeah.
how, like in a bowl in a china shop, and they
Right.
can't see it for themselves. And that takes looking in here and
Mm-hmm.
seeing, evaluating yourself for yourself, because it's not for anyone else. It's
Right.
just for you. And
Yep.
if you want to be a kinder, gentler you, you got to do that internal work. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, even so far as looking in the mirror and saying, you're not a bad person.
Right.
Maybe you do bad things sometimes, but you're still a solid person,
Yeah.
and really mean it, and love
Mm-hmm.
yourself. Give yourself a hug.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think, and it, we were talking about Christianity and how, morality, it was probably for a reason at the time. And not only that, but the Old Testament gives them ways to butcher meat and, ways to eat it. And that was all like hygienic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
way back in the day. And so to follow those rules meant that you wouldn't get sick,
Right.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, I can see the point in that. But as we progress through time, you have to be willing to change, your viewpoint on things a little bit as we learn things.
Yeah.
I mean, because we know what's beyond our atmosphere now. We've seen it,
Mm-hmm.
through pictures and
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and even people telling us what it looks like out there. And
Yep.
so we don't have to think that it's angels with harps sitting on clouds up there, playing their harps, because we know it's not.
Right. It's not very practical just to believe
No.
that.
Yeah. So I think it's always good to be willing to change, your thought process on things.
Yep. Always open to change.
Yes. Oh, spider. He just
Ugh.
I don't know. He must have come out of the tree because he just came right straight down. So
Yeah.
he's heading out, and I'm gonna just let
Good.
him.
Yeah. I'm trying to be nicer to spiders because they scare the shit out of me. But I'm
Mm.
sorry. I'm like, my daughter's like, no, you can't kill them, and she'll like, but they're just so scary. I just can't help it.
I don't really like them that much. And actually, one time, because it was a big, scary one, I put it in a jar and I shut the jar, and it was like, kind of close to it. So I got it in there and I closed it, and then I just let it die in there. I felt horrible for
Mm-hmm.
weeks. Even now, if I think about it, I feel terrible for that
Yeah.
spider. And because I put myself in their place, and
Right.
I didn't like the way that made me feel. And so I vowed I would never do that again to another spider or any animal
Any
at
other?
all.
Right.
I won't imprison them till they die. And
Right.
yeah. So yeah, I just either if it has to be, I'll give it to them quick,
Right.
or I'll just let them go their own way, and I'll go
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I make myself feel better by thinking that, well, they must have had a really bad, like past life, and they're here as like a simple-minded being, and I just
Uh-huh.
helped them get through their karma a little quicker, and now they're
Yeah.
going to come back as a human or a cow or something, right?
Well, yeah,
But I don't
something
feel
a
so
little higher up on the
yeah,
food chain, maybe.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. um, yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Well, I just helped them get there faster.
yeah.
You never
Karma.
know, though. That might have been their reward for a great life,
You
to be
never
a
know.
simple being.
It could
Because
be.
let's face it, they got no worries.
Yeah.
My cat Bob, he's got no worries.
Right.
He's always got something to eat in his bowl, and he's got, a warm place to stay at night. He
Right.
doesn't really have much to worry about. So, yeah, I think
Nope.
it would be a reward to come back
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Definitely. If I ever come back, which I know I'm not, this is my last life, but I would want to come back as a cat. I mean,
Where do
think
you
about
go?
it.
Where do you think you go, Nellie, if this is your last life here in this plane? Where do you think you're going to go?
Well, I believe that we're all ascending back to source,
Okay.
and
I
which is
kind of
that
believe
creative
that.
energy that created everything, right? And I don't think it's masculine or feminine. I think it's a balance of the two.
Hmm.
And I believe that the whole process is to just work through anything and then get to that point where you're ready to go back to source. And
Yeah.
so, like my husband and I, we already both were told, well, at the very beginning of our journey, that this was our last life, right? That we've done all the work and it's, time to, and, like even my youngest daughter, this is her
Hmm.
last life. And, we're just like her life before this, she was a Rosie the Riveter during the war.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she's just getting rewarded with a lot of good karma in this life because she's
That's
just
good.
been a good person, right?
Yeah.
And so I just feel like we go back to source, but I don't feel like we're still not ourselves. Like I tell my kids, I am never going to leave you. Even if my body dies and I'm going back to source, I'm like, I'm always going to be there for you. I'm going to be looking over your shoulder. I'm going to be taking care of you, right? So I don't feel like we're stuck in one place. I feel like we can basically travel the galaxy and be our best versions of ourselves and take in everything that we haven't yet taken in.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way too, that, and that returning to source is almost like going home,
Exactly.
you go home and you just exist there, and it's okay because it's all peaceful and it's communal, because you're not the only one. It's like a collective,
Yes.
and I think it's just peaceful and serene, and you can, traverse the universe at that point.
Yep.
There's all these, like if you look in like some of the Hubble telescope photographs that they're sending back, oh my God, the pillars of the gods. That alone is just so awe-inspiring and
Right.
so massively huge. And you know that there's got to be some kind of life associated with that, and there's energy there.
Right.
Where did that energy come from? I think it came from the same place where we came from,
Yeah.
and it's
Exactly.
all the whole entire universe. And I think that, yeah, we can visit places like that then and, be able to check them out and,
Right.
and join them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. I think, we all get there. It just
Yeah.
takes a little longer, to.
Yeah. Well,
Some
that's
of the.
kind of how I look at this life. It's like school. It's like elementary school for humans. Well, I mean, we do this as humans,
Right.
So, but it's like schooling, and you don't get to graduate to the next grade until you've met those milestones
Right.
and learned those lessons. And once you do, then you can move on. And if
Yep.
you, my neighbor's dog, Red, I think Red was once a man. I think Red did something very heinous, and I think he needed to learn humility. I think he needed to learn loyalty and service to others. And I think that's why he came back as a big red dog. And he
Yeah.
looked at me like, I swear to God, he was my husband or lover or something in a past life because of the way he would look at me,
Right.
So, and I prayed one day that love would walk into my life, and here come Red walking through my garage door. I was like, oh dear. So you have to just take into perspective, that there's a lot of love in every life,
Exactly.
whether it's, animals or other humans or, friends, family, whatever it might be.
Yep.
Even if it's just love for yourself. I think that, everyone, has love in their life. You just have to put it in perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a dog that I was pretty sure was my husband's grandma
Oh,
in
wow.
her past life. And that dog, it acted just like his grandma. His grandma was not nice to him when he was growing up, and any of the grandkids, right? And then you get this dog and she's good. And then all of a sudden she starts like peeing every time he looks at her. All she cared about was food and snacks, just like his grandma. And then it came to a point when she got older, if she wasn't in her kennel by his bed, she could see him at night, she wouldn't do anything but whine.
Oh, wow.
And it just hit me one day. I said, honey, I think that's your grandma. He was done. He's like, okay, the dog goes. He's like, I can't do this.
That's funny. Yeah, I don't want to live with grandma again.
Yeah. He was like, no, we're not doing this. But.
That's funny. Hey, can you see this rock right here? It's I picked it up and I think it's granite, but I'm not sure. And it's got like a purplish red color kind of in it. If
It
you
does
can
kind of look like
see.
granite. Yeah.
But would you call that like amethyst? Because it's like embedded in the rock. Can you see there? And it's kind of a purpley color, So I
don't
didn't know
know
if it was like quartz that had some, amethyst embedded in it, or I didn't know. So anyway, this is.
I don't know.
I'm kind of trying to figure it out. So
don't
if
know.
anyone knows.
I don't know if I've ever seen granite with quartz or with amethyst, but let's
I mean,
see.
you
Oh,
can kind of see that it's like it's quartzy,
yeah.
um, and you can kind of see like on the ends there where it's
Yeah.
clear, like right there, it's real quartzy. So
Yeah. This is here that amethyst occurs in pockets inside quartz veins in weathered granite. So,
and weathered granite. So that's what
yeah,
that is. Hey, I found a natural amethyst today.
it seems like it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Because that's good for protection.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, if anyone's ever, wondering about amethyst, it is a good protection stone.
Yep. And it's good to like get your crown chakra open and get more
Oh, yeah.
messages coming through. Yeah.
Hmm. Yep. So yeah, I'm working on that. And then I've been wearing my tanzanite. I have
Oh,
a
pretty.
bracelet. Yep. And then I have a matching ring. Whoop.
Uh-huh.
And then
Nice.
I have the earrings too.
Uh-huh.
So I've been wearing my tanzanite in the an attempt to try and open my third eye more, and
Yeah.
really try to make contact and just
Yeah.
just be more spiritually open
Yeah.
and see things better. Sometimes I feel like I don't see people for what they really are when I first meet them. I just think everyone's nice.
Well, and we do have that tendency. I think it's just we're nice people and we want to, that's what we expect from other people.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I treat people the way I want to be treated, so I'm pretty darn nice.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, and I know different people have had different experiences with organized religion, but when I was a kid, I went to church. We went Methodist church with my grandma, and they were just a nice lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
They were the kind of people who actually lived what they said and didn't just talk a
Right.
good game about it. They were just really really decent folks, and so I was lucky to have grown up around people like that who really
Yeah.
did treat others the way they wanted to be treated.
Right.
Kelly
Absolutely. Hello,
Kelly
Kelly.
says, hey madam, and how are you? And I'm great, Kelly. Thanks for asking. And I rode my motorcycle today, so and
Oh.
I'm an air sign. So anytime I get air rushing past me, I'm super happy. And she says, hey, Nellie.
Hey,
Nellie X.
Kelly. Yeah, so you're talking about you're working on like on your clairvoyance and getting messages in your crown chakra. So I just wanted to offer, so like I've actually been channeled quite a few different healing modalities, and the newest one I've got are like blueprints, and they come down from Archangel Metatron. He was Enoch in the Bible, but he actually ascended and he became status as a archangel. And so he's been channeling me some different blueprints, and they come down and they actually like tap into your Akashic records, your past lives and stuff, and they bring those in and lay them over you to start aligning you with
Right.
those abilities. And so I was thinking of, I have the Whispers of the Oracle that he gave me. This one opens like portals to spirit, helps you with divination and mediumship. And then the other one was the seer crystal. This one was really cool. It actually, there's such a thing as a seer crystal, right? That you could into. But this one helps you with seeing the future and visions and opening your spiritual eyes. So I didn't know if you want me to run those, and anybody can accept them.
Yeah. Okay. If you'd like, that'd be great.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So, okay. So first of all, I have to pull in like this. It's a quantum vehicle that he made. It's like a quantum healing chamber. And then I just plug in those blueprints, and then whoever wants to accept them, it can go ahead and work for them. So, okay, let's see.
Okay.
So just calling that in for each person watching the live replay who would like to accept these. And we're going to run two different blueprints, and these come in from your Akashic records. which it's like the divine library where everything from all your past lives is cataloged. And we can tap into that, right? That's how we do past life readings and things like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull in the Whispers of the Oracle Blueprint and the Seer Crystal Blueprint.
Oh, I just had to get a little shade. That's better.
Okay. So those will run for 24 hours as they're like aligning you. It's kind of like you're inside of a 4D Merkaba. The 6-sided star, but it's 4D. So you're not just seeing it one side, it's all of these different sides, and it's aligning you to different points and bringing that alignment into your energy.
Okay.
So I know mine has ramped up lately as well. So I've been working with those. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, I hope so too. I kind of, have been working really hard to have balance, because right now is the time for that. It's because we're in Libra.
Yeah.
And so now's the time to try and attain balance in your
yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just reading this update for October. It's a powerful month of major life changes, fate and destiny, and of course Mercury retrograde got rid of it. Where are you?
Oh God, yes.
But Mercury retrograde's over in like 3 days.
Yeah.
So hallelujah. It keeps closing on me. What the fuck?
Oh, now we're gonna have to start an F-bomb counter for Nellie. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Yeah, so it's all October's about. Forget it. It won't let me. But it was about like soul meetings and community and meeting new people. But it also talked about like financial things, like getting your finances where you want them. Like I guess kind of figure out where you want to be and what you want to do.
Yeah, I think that's important because so many times it's like, well, and that and you think about where you want to be, but you don't really like think of the steps involved in getting there. And I think I like manifesting because I also make a plan. Well, what can I do to get myself closer to that? And even if it's a baby step, I'm like, it's a step towards it.
Oh yeah.
And so I kind of it's more methodical for me, and I can make things happen that way. So sometimes it's just a baby step, but it's a baby step.
That's right. Every step, yeah.
Every step gets you closer to your goal.
Yeah. What does it say? You take 1 step to the gods, and they'll take 10 steps towards you. They just got to know we're serious, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think, you can't expect things to just fall on you like you're, the witch of the East and have houses fall on you.
That would be nice, but...
It would be nice. But yeah, I think anything is achievable. Anything you can dream, you can make happen. You just have to figure out what steps to take to get there. And just, do the internal work so that when it comes, you're ready for it,
Absolutely. Did you guys know, I think, isn't today the day that Hocus Pocus 2 comes out?
I think it might be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know there's a big buzz about it. So.
Yeah. And I think you can maybe watch it on Disney Plus.
Okay.
I've got to check because, we have Disney Plus, but I haven't seen if we could actually watch it or if we have to pay for it on there. But I was thinking that might be a fun thing to do tonight, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Any Halloween movies, now's the time. Break them up. Get out your Halloween decorations. It's not too early.
Yeah.
Because the 1st of October is like in a day.
Well, and think of it, how quick the months are going. By the time we really get into Halloween, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be done. Right? It's like.
And I mean, like, I want to spend some time with my Halloween stuff.
Right. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
I've had my witch stuff out in the garage for a while. I have a large doll that's a witch. She's just dressed gorgeusly, and
Mm-hmm.
but she's a crone,
Yeah.
so I can relate with her. and and then I got a couple of Barbies too, the witch Barbies. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I hang out with the girls out there.
Yeah.
And it's fun. The guys think that she's haunted, because
Well, of
they
course
say
they.
her eyes follow you.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember being little, and when I'd stay at my grandma and grandpa's, she had an Elvis head because she was an Elvis fan.
Uh-huh.
I swear it was made of ceramic, but I swear his eyes followed me everywhere I went in that bedroom. It freaked me out.
That's funny.
Uh,
Yeah, I know. It's funny how we I know it's watching me.
right?
It's probably not, but what
Right.
the
Yeah.
That's funny. Let's see. I'm just getting like relationship stuff here. Oh, if you're a Libra, Gemini, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aquarius are your most compatible signs. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Don't go looking for Capricorns.
Yeah. So my husband and I weren't supposed to marry by the regular zodiac or the Chinese zodiac, but hey, we've
Oh,
been together 16 years and we're going
yeah.
strong. So
What are your signs then?
I'm a Scorpio and he's a Sagittarius.
Oh, okay, yeah. Scorpio. Yeah, I love Scorpios. My dad was a Scorpio. Um, but I think dad just he needed more of a love life. Because for
Yeah.
Scorpios,
That's
that's
important.
important. Mhm.
Yep.
And they don't want just sex, they want passion. They
Right.
want a passionate love affair, you
That's
know.
right.
And for my dad, that wasn't in the cards,
Yeah.
I don't
It's
think.
hard. It really
It is
is.
hard. It's hard to
Yeah.
balance that, that need for that passion in your life, with the right person. And lucky for you, you found that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's good. For me, it's Sagittarius and Gemini. It used to be Leos, but I'm kind of trying to steer clear of the
Yeah.
Leos a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's okay if I've already met you and you're a Leo, you can stay.
You're not
But
accepting
tell me you're a
applications.
Leo and we haven't met really, I'm just gonna walk the other way.
Yeah. I seem to like I have a friend who's a Capricorn and we just get along like so well.
Yeah.
It's not even funny. And then I have like another friend and she's a Scorpio and
Mhm,
it's just like we can read each other and know exactly what the other person's thinking, what they need, what's
mhm.
going on with them. But I don't have a good so my dad and my brother are both Leos and I just can't. I'm just like, why is everything about you? Why don't you care about me? You
It is
know?
too.
It's
Well,
horrible.
well, they have a large ego, but rather frail. And
Yeah.
so you have to continually pet the big cat,
Yeah.
you know.
If you want a relationship with him at all, you have to be the one to make it happen. And I'm like,
Kinda, yeah, you kinda have
yeah.
to be all about them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but if that's what you are wanting, in
Yeah.
your life, they're great people. They're very loyal. They can be very loving and very
Mm-hmm.
generous with their time.
Oh
But
yeah.
don't forget to appreciate
That's
all
right.
of it.
Yep.
And appreciate it on the daily.
Exactly.
Oh, you're just so great every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
I love you.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, we all need some affirmation, but I think Leos are a little bit more in
Yeah.
need of affirmation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, depending on how you look at it, can become tiresome or just, something you do every day. A
Yeah.
habit. It'll either be tiresome or a habit. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like as a Scorpio, I'm like, you already know you're important to me. So why do we have to keep doing this? It's like,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
yeah,
And I have to tell you every day how great you are. Don't you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
That's
Oh
funny.
my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, Gemini, I surprisingly I get along really good with Gemini, and I think it's because I'm pretty laid back. And
Yeah.
so they can, you know, have their two-sidedness and it's okay.
Yeah. My second daughter's a Gemini,
Yeah.
and I'm just starting to try to understand that thing.
Yeah, there's definitely two sides to Gemini. And there's one side that you just can't get enough of, and there's another side that you can.
Yeah. It's just like make it stop.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
Yeah.
I think overall, especially if they're pretty, grounded and they are, good with themselves,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
okay. But
Yeah. And I was just looking at on Facebook, it was like a list of the major serial killers and what their zodiac signs were. And do you
hmm
know there was not one Scorpio on there? I would have
no.
thought they'd be Scorpios. No, they were mostly Geminis, um, Virgos, Sagittarius, and there was some Pisces, which totally
hmm
surprised me because I just would not think that a Pisces could be a serial killer, but
Yeah,
apparently they can.
I've met a couple that I thought, yeah, they could be for sure. One of them was just flat out crazy. So yeah, I kind of tend to steer clear of Pisces. I had a good experience with one and a bad experience with another. So I just kind of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, don't. And it's funny how you just don't really gravitate to
Right.
particular people. I have a hard time with Virgo. Um, it's just I think part of it is nothing is more important to them than what they have going on. Their
Yes.
work, whatever it is, that's their work. And for me, it's like, oh, it's Christmas. Well, what difference does that make? I have work. I'm going to work now. Well, I don't care if it's your birthday. you know, it's
Right.
just yeah. I couldn't be a mate with a Virgo because they're just really all about what they have going on. You know.
That makes total sense to me now. I understand my youngest daughter better because
Mhm.
I could not understand what these like intense hiding in her bed because something didn't go her way.
Mm,
It's like, aha, that makes sense.
yeah. Oh, she's a Virgo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, and they really are about the whatever it is they're doing. You know, that is they kind of gain their identity from whatever it is they do. So
Gotcha.
yeah, and which is okay,
Yeah.
but you really should probably also have identity other than just your job.
Exactly.
So.
That's what I'm trying to teach my kids is that whatever your sign is, there are like strengths and
Mm-hmm,
then there's weakness. And
hmm
so like, my Aries son, he has like a fiery temper and he just like pummels into everything. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. It means you're going to get somewhere in life, but you can't run through people. You have
yeah.
to still listen to people. Like you have to have that balance.
Oh
You
yeah,
know, you
for sure.
can't. Well, oh, that's an excuse for me to just act like that. No, it's an excuse for you to do better.
Well, yeah, I
And
think it's like
balance.
a heads up. Heads up, you're
Yeah,
probably going to have these tendencies. Find ways to cope with it.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. And then I love Sagittarians because my mother was a Sagittarius, and they're really
Mhm.
very kind and laid back people usually. They don't. You know, they're not confrontational usually. They prefer not to be. And I like that. Calm, non confrontational, low drama people are A OK in my book.
Yeah. You see, my husband's he's a Sagittarius, but he doesn't fit pretty much anything of what they say the Sagittarius is. Like he doesn't like to travel, and he's ready for a confrontation. Like,
Is he on the cusp? Is he like right at
well,
the tail end or
so
at the beginning?
I think he is pretty close because I wondered if that was so. Let's see,
Well, see, if he's
Sagittarius.
on the cusp closer to the Scorpio side, he might be, have a few more of
Yeah,
those traits because you can be on a cusp, and
yeah. So
just a few days within the turning of it,
he's 7 days. He's 7 days
7 days.
before it turned to Capricorn.
Okay, so he may have more Capricorn tendencies.
I'll have to look that up because I've never
Well,
really
I got
delved into
that in
that.
my book right here, and I was just gonna look up. I was just looking at Capricorn, and then I lost my place. Here's Taurus. My daughter's a Taurus. And the thing I learned about Taurus is never tell them what to do. So
Yep.
if there's a situation where, well, like, you tell your children what to do sometimes, and you
Mm-hmm.
just say, now just go do this or whatever. And I learned with her, I should say, you could do this or you could do that. Which one would you prefer? And then she had a choice in the matter, and she made up her own mind, as to which thing. Or like I'd pick out two outfits for school, and she could pick whichever one she wanted.
Right.
If I let her pick her clothes, though, nothing matched. Nothing. She had like on two different socks, and it was just crazy. So I did that. It says, he said, did you feel, and Anthony asked, did you feel change energy from Earth just a few minutes ago?
Yeah, Earth Gang. I listen to.
Sam says, yes, he did.
Yeah, I'm feeling like my head's a little more lightheaded.
Yeah.
Something must have shifted.
I kind of feel like that, like, well, some people might label it as anxiety. It's just that feeling you get, that kind of in your chest a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I don't, I just kind of use it as an indicator, like keep your eyes open.
Mm-hmm.
Something's likely to maybe, be happening soon. So keep your eyes open. Let's see. We were talking about Sagittarius and Capricorn, right? Was it Capricorn?
Yeah. This
He was
says that
closer to that.
Capricorns are all about authenticity, realness, and honesty.
Self-reliant and responsible.
That's him.
An old head on young shoulders, and lighten up as they age.
Well, that's
Is he
true.
is he a little less serious now than he was when he was younger?
Oh God, yes.
Well, there you go. And he's clever with money,
Oh yeah.
because he's an Earth sign, and then he has an eye for things that stand the test of time.
That's true.
Well, he married you.
That's true.
There you go. And that stood the test of time. So it's cautious with money. When you feel secure enough, you'll wish to show the world that you've made it. You have excellent taste and want to look and sound like you mean business. That describe him?
Yep. Yeah, Anthony's asking about Scorpios. Yeah, so Scorpios are,
Oh, Scorpio.
Scorpios are considered like the witchiest of the horoscope signs, right? We're into the dark, we're into understanding all of that. We feel comfortable with that. And
Yes.
but we're also, if we're out of balance, we can be very revengeful. We can get very hurt if we don't do our shadow work, right? We Scorpios
Mm-hmm.
have to do the shadow work, or they're never going to get anywhere. They're just going to be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's because your planetary ruler is Pluto,
mm-hmm.
and that's kind of a dark planet,
Yeah,
way away from the sun.
yeah.
So yeah.
So just finding balance. Like I think balance is a huge word for Scorpio. Just everything in your life, finding balance.
Yes. And you're not afraid to, like, you know, strike out like a scorpion when
If you need to, right.
agitated, yeah, when necessary. And then it's when someone trusts you, you feel honored by that,
Mm-hmm.
and you keep people's confidence and things like that.
Right.
So, because you have the ability to keep a secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's a good thing though, because I've had to be confidential, with
Mm-hmm.
people's information. So I'm just used to doing that, as a general rule.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
So
I
Anthony says he's a Scorpio, and so am I, Anthony.
It says you are not frightened of your emotions because you feel them so keenly. You are often at their mercy, though.
Yeah.
And but you're not an escapist, and you look at things head on and tackle them.
Yeah.
Yep. And then when you get when you get interested in something, are you obsessive about it?
Oh yeah.
And then yeah, in love, it's all or nothing for you
Yep.
as a Scorpio. Yes. You know, it's a good thing, and you have sex appeal, and you are very passionate, very you know, passion driven. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's you know, some people are driven by money, some people are driven by sex, some people are driven by themselves. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they just are, you know, so wrapped in their ego. You know, they have to
Right.
excel at everything. So, but you know, it's just it's different people. You know, yes, shadow work um, and pulled era that other people fear to go. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
go in places where others are, you know,
Yeah.
fearful to tread. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're
That
kind
I'd
of
say that's a
mystical.
Scorpio. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My father was just he was so um, well read, you know, and he was a Scorpio, but he was
Mm-hmm.
a early Scorpio, closer to Libra. He was a
Right.
25th. His was the 25th. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I always kind of felt bad for Dad. He didn't get the passion in life that I think he would have liked to have.
Yeah. It's hard not having that, you know.
Well, yeah, and I think you know you search and search for that sort of thing, and I think a lot of people do search for that passion, that you know, true love, I guess you could say,
Mm-hmm.
and find disappointment, you know, because I don't know, maybe their expectations might be a little, you know, excessive,
Mm-hmm.
and or it sometimes is just like finding a needle in a haystack to
Yeah.
find that connection with some another human being, you know.
Yeah. Well, I
Here,
also
oh, go
think
ahead.
that sometimes if we haven't done our shadow work as Scorpios,
Mhm.
then we're attracting people who need fixing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like someone
Yes.
who hasn't done their shadow work, and so we're just attracting the same
Hmm.
energy. So that's why I think it's really important if you're trying to manifest like that. One true love is to get yourself right.
Yes. Hmm.
Make yourself
Yeah, make
exactly what you'd want.
yourself the one true love that you have in your life, and you know, really nurture yourself, because I think then that will attract that kind of attention for you,
Yeah.
you know. And I think without it, like you said, you're just going to attract the wrong kind of attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cancer, Taurus, and Capricorn are your most compatible love signs.
Cancer,
Cancer,
Taurus.
Taurus, and Capricorn.
Well, that makes sense why I get along so well with my Capricorn friend.
Yep.
My mom's a Taurus, and I never got along with her. So,
Oh,
I
and
don't know.
well, yeah. Tauruses can kind of also run you down like a big
Mm-hmm.
bull. You know,
Yeah.
if you are not, if you're not strong enough to just stand up and say, mm-mm.
Right. Yep.
And then your least compatible love signs: Libra, Leo, and Aries. So yeah, um,
Okay.
yeah. Well, yeah, and I'm a Libra, and I honestly, as a love interest, usually will try to steer clear of Scorpios. They're just kind of intense for me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I usually will say nix on the
Yeah.
Scorpios, but
Yeah.
you know, it's just about it. Some people love that intensity, you know, and
Right.
it's like, well, if you haven't threatened to kill the next man that looks at me, then you don't love me.
Right.
Yeah. So discreet, professional, and intuitive are Scorpios, and no problem you can't solve.
Yep.
And ideal Scorpio careers would be negotiator, spy. detective, which is listed the other side of that,
Uh-huh.
consultant, police force, funeral director, researcher, psychologist, miner, or investment banker. So, and I suppose most of those require some discretion, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's, I think, what you can generally count on Scorpios for is their discretion. And most compatible colleagues would be Sagittarius, Aries, or Virgo. Least compatible Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. Yeah, because you don't want to have to pet the Leo again and again.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord. Let's see. And then, do you find yourself like you'll get on a food, a particular thing, and you just are obsessed with it and want to eat it like every day?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
It says your take it or leave it attitude sees you swing from being obsessed with one type of food to being off your kibble completely.
Oh
So,
gosh, no, that's not me.
or you tend to enjoy foods that others turn their nose up at.
Oh yeah, that's me.
Okay,
I'll
there
eat
you go.
anything, just about anything.
Yep. Intense dark chocolate, bitter cocktails, pungent blue cheese, spicy hot, energy giving foods such as curries, chili, and hot pepper sauce give you a satisfying kick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Um, there you go. Oh gosh. Here you go. Scorpio's dark, moody, dangerous energy makes you the zodiac's sex, drugs, and rock and roll character. Look out for Nellie. Here she comes.
I've been like, I've been listening to headbanging music, which is not
Oh,
me.
nice.
But like
Yeah.
lately, it's just that, like, we're driving down the road yesterday, just my husband and I going to pick up my daughter from driver's ed, and I
Mm-hmm.
turn on Olivia Rodriguez, which is a new artist I found from my kids, and
Uh-huh.
it's called Brutal, right? And this is headbanging music, and I look out the window, and there's like a dragon in the clouds. Have you ever seen like the dragons and the different beings in the clouds, like going with you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, there's this huge white dragon just following me, and I'm like, thank you, spirit. I'm like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
feel bad for listening to headbanging music.
Sometimes you need to just get that, like just get that kind of energy flowing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, we listen to stuff like that here too. I have Alexa, and so, she's always got whatever music I want to hear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that. I kind of felt lonesome when I kind of let it expire. I just didn't want to deal with it. And then I got kind of lonely without it. Because I can say, hey, what's the weather today?
Right.
Play NPR news, play me, whatever song I want to listen to.
Right.
And it's just always there. But I do think that I'm pretty sure they're listening
Yeah.
to everything
But
that we
oh
say.
yeah, but my husband says they listen through everything. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
whether it's Alexa or something else. It's like so.
Yeah. And, it's funny how did George Orwell have his finger on the pulse of this? Like, wasn't that book written in the 30s,
Something like that, yeah, it's pretty old.
1984? Yeah, I think
Oh, yeah.
it was written in like the 30s or 40s. I mean, a long
Well,
time ago,
I think he was
well
channeled.
before this culture.
Yeah.
But he was absolutely right in everything. We are never unseen, really.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, if it's
he probably had like the gift of prophecy, but what do we
George
call it?
Orwell.
Like telling the future.
It's a true
He
story.
he
Yeah.
just didn't know it.
No, I know, right? And they say art imitates life, and I think a lot of these movies,
Yeah.
like for example, The Matrix.
Yeah.
It's like that's strangely familiar. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I think that a lot of times in Hollywood, we see these things and we think, oh, it's just a story. But I think a lot of it's not just a story. I think it's
I
someone's
agree.
experience, and I think they're trying to share it with us.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's better to just not let people know exactly what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think our good old government has issues with things sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Roswell, and now they're coming around to admit that there's been
Yeah.
aliens contacted and all this stuff, and it's like, yeah, we knew that, but
Yeah. Thank you
know,
for confirming.
yeah, thanks for telling us. We already knew that, and we knew you were lying about it. But
Right.
thanks for coming clean. Yeah. So I mean, you can never really trust them because they're gonna lie.
Yep. That's one thing you do know. They will lie.
Yeah, I know, right? So, is there anything else coming up here? You got your Sunday class on channeling. Was that
Yeah.
okay? And what time are you doing that?
I think I usually try to do them at 2 because I have quite a few people from the UK who like to do classes.
Oh,
And
nice. Okay.
then it's like 7, 8 o'clock their time.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a perfect time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2
I
p.m.
always
Central.
enjoy, talking to the English.
I just love hearing their accents. My favorite is the Scottish. I mean, I could just sit and
Well,
listen to them all day.
Any time that you feel you want to hear that, I'm glad to fill you in. So, I could go there, I think, and probably never miss a beat and just go and be English for the rest of my life. I do have English ancestors, and I know 1 or 2 people there.
Yeah. We should like just do one podcast a month where you just are totally like your English persona.
Oh, I would love that. And then I also do a Southern accent, and I don't know how the people in the South will feel about it, but I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, my 12-year-old son, I found out that he's like streaming online all the time, and he acts like he's English because the girls like that.
Oh, of course.
I was like, if that's what you got to do, get a girl, fine.
I don't know why we broke with England, but yet we think that they're so sexy with the accent,
right?
It doesn't make sense, but it's
No,
all right. So, well, we're at 59 minutes now. So, sadly, we're going to depart from your Friday afternoon. And I hope that we've given you guys some insight or, yeah. Here we go. Anthony says, or people show up out of thin air asking for help. So, yeah. Yeah, my father was the 25th, so he's pretty close to it. And he said he's done his shadow work, so that's good. All right.
Yep.
So anyway, well, it's at an hour now, and it's been lovely hanging out with you guys in the chat and everyone out there who's watching. And if you watch it in reruns, God bless you. And blessed be to everyone out there. And join us again next Friday. Where we'll have, another exciting episode of Magical Mayhem, and I'll be with you again on Ask Madam Monday night at 9 p.m. And so, thanks for joining us, everyone, and have an awesome afternoon.
See you, everybody.